In April 2005, Apple introduced private browsing in Safari. It's crazy to think about, but they were the first ones to unveil any type of private browsing mode. Other browsers added their own in the following years under a variety of different names. But which one is the most effective? In this video, I'll explain how each popular browser's private mode works and the best way to browse privately online. Before we start, let's define what private browsing mode is. Each browser calls it by a different name, but in this video, I'm going to use the term private browsing as a generic catch-all term to refer to all of them. Private browsing does slightly different things in each browser, but they all share a few common functions. Typically, private browsing mode in any browser doesn't save a history of websites you visit, doesn't save any website data like cookies or cache, disables any sort of auto login feature, and disables browser extensions. That's kind of the baseline. But which ones go above and beyond, and what makes some of them better than others? Let's start by looking at Chrome. Chrome is the most widely used browser on Earth with over a 70% market share as of December 2025. For context, the next closest browser is Safari at just shy of 15%. But just because it's popular doesn't make it good. Chrome is actually the worst browser that you can use if you care about privacy to any extent, in both regular or incognito mode. Chrome's incognito mode does two things. It prevents Chrome from automatically signing you into websites, and after you go back to normal browsing, Chrome will remove any history, cookies, and site data that you accumulated during that browsing session. If that sounds like the exact same basic features that all private browsing modes do, that's because it is. Incognito mode does literally nothing on top of the bare minimum. So why is it worse than any other browser? That answer lies in what Chrome does by default. You see, private browsing doesn't remove any of the privacy features your browser already has. It only adds to them. So even for private browsing modes that do more than the bare minimum, the vast majority of your protections are either there all the time or they're never there. And that's what makes Chrome worse than any other browser. Chrome, to this day, is missing a lot of common privacy protections that other browsers have been offering for years. For example, nearly every other common browser blocks third-party cookies by default. Chrome doesn't, though it can be enabled in the settings. Some browsers block bounce tracking by default. Once more, Chrome doesn't, though that can also be enabled in the settings. Other browsers offer varying degrees of built-in ad blocking, tracker blocking, and fingerprint resistance. Chrome does not offer any of this natively. There are some extensions that you can add, but those come with potential risks, like downloading a malicious extension or, ironically, making yourself easier to track by having too many extensions. And that's just a few common tracking methods. There's others that take even more work to avoid if you're a Chrome user. So Chrome is definitely out. Other popular browsers like Opera and Vivaldi are a step up. Both of those have ad and tracker blockers, as well as a few other default protections that vary between the two of them. But neither of them blocks third-party cookies by default in regular browsing mode, nor do they offer any fingerprint protection out of the box. Safari is actually an even better choice than those two because it offers better tracking protection, a little bit of fingerprint protection, and blocks third-party cookies. But it is missing some other significant protections like including an ad blocker. All of these features are better than nothing, but they don't really stop websites from effectively tracking you. And there are browsers who do a significantly better job than any of the mainstream ones we've talked about so far. Before we get to that, you might be thinking, this is fine. Does it matter if a browser is really private or not? Imagine buying a gift for someone using private browsing, and then later you start seeing ads for that exact item. That happens because the sites you visited still track you on the server side, using advanced techniques that common browsers don't defend against. And about 35% of Americans still use shared devices, like a family computer or an iPad, so the risk of accidentally ruining the surprise is still real for over 100 million people in America alone. Private browsing only hides data on your device. The real privacy battle is fought by the browser's built-in protections that run all the time. If you want real privacy protection online, what you want is not private browsing, but a private browser. A browser built from the ground up to resist tracking. Private browsers already do the stuff that most browsers do, like blocking third-party cookies and trackers, but they go even further by having larger block lists, advanced fingerprint resistance techniques, and more behind-the-scenes stuff that makes them way more effective. Real quick, before I share which browsers are actually private and which of those are the best, I want to let you know that if you're finding this video helpful and informative so far, you can help us keep making videos like this by going to privacyguides.org, tapping the little heart icon in the top right corner, and signing up for a membership. You'll get videos like this one a week early, priority during our weekly live stream Q&As, a badge on our forum, and more. Privacy Guides is a 501c3 nonprofit, so we don't have any sponsors, affiliate links, or anything like that. We're 100% supported by our community, and you can help us keep that independence. Thanks for your support. Now let's get back to private browsers. If you're after the best way to really use the internet privately, there are 3 browsers that stand head and shoulders above the rest. The absolute S-tier golden standard is the Tor browser. In fact, the Tor browser isn't just a private browser, it's built for total anonymity. It's designed to make every user look the same so that no individual stands out in the crowd. But because of that, the Tor browser comes with some strict rules to use it right. For example, you shouldn't install any extensions or sign into any websites. It can also be slow at times, and many websites do block Tor users. These restrictions make the Tor browser an impractical option for most people to use as their main browser. Still, it could be great in our gift-giving scenario for doing your initial research, like reading reviews and checking prices without being tracked online by advertisers. The other 2 options will be much more of a sweet spot for most day-to-day use. These are Brave and Firefox. Brave is based on the same code as Chrome, so if you're a longtime Chrome user, this might be the easiest transition for you. Brave comes with a powerful ad and tracker blocker, blocks third-party cookies, doesn't share data with advertisers, and has loads of other behind-the-scenes privacy protections like strong anti-fingerprinting techniques and encrypted DNS requests. All this by default. Firefox also has a lot of strong behind-the-scenes privacy features compared to other browsers, but it does require a little bit of configuring to really get the most out of it. Start by installing the uBlock Origin extension to block trackers and ads. Set Enhanced Tracking Protection to strict in the settings, and enable the Tell Websites Not to Share My Data option as well. Over on privacyguides.org, we have a few more settings we recommend changing on both Firefox and Brave to really get the most out of it, but even those few adjustments will make either of these browsers far more private than Chrome, Vivaldi, Opera, or even Safari in regular or private browsing modes. If this video seems very surface level, that's because it is. Online tracking has evolved over the years to become very complex and opaque. Privacy browsers aren't perfect, but if you want to stop advertisers and data brokers from stalking your every click online, it's vital to start using them regularly and not just for sensitive stuff. So which browser are you using, or which one sounds the most intriguing to you and why? Let us know in the comments. If you learned something new here, check out our video about browser fingerprinting for more information on how privacy browsers can protect your online activity. Remember, our most up-to-date information will always be at privacyguides.org. Thanks for watching.